Hi guys! So for the month of October, we're getting spoopy. And what I mean by that is I am going to every Wednesday, which is today, tell you about horror movies that I have watched and give you a rating 1 out of 10 if they're good or not. The first one we're going to talk about is the first Paranormal Activity that came out in 2007. Everything was done by Oren Peli, the director, the photography, the editing, everything. It follows a young couple, Katie and Micah, who are haunted by a supernatural presence in their home. Micah decides to set up a camera to document it, and it uses found footage that are mirrored in later films of the series. But what is scary, I think, about it, and what's really good, is that you see everything through Micah's camera. So you see everything that happens through a camera. So it's not like a normal horror movie where like everything's filmed and you see everything. No, like it's like you're the one filming. It's like that point of view, which I think is really, really good and gives it more of a creepy thing. It also doesn't have the normal music. It doesn't have really any music. It's just quiet. So, obviously I give all the credit to Paramount Pictures and Oren Peli and Micah and Katie, who were in the movie. What I think is really cool is the actors that played Micah and Katie. They chose people who those were their actual first names to play them. Another thing that I really like is this movie is different from a lot of others, and it's actually scary. Like, it's actually good. Like, you would actually feel on edge watching this, which is really good. So, I'm gonna read you a little bit of the plot to see if you're interested. Also, if you want to watch, it's on Netflix. Then after I tell you a little bit about this plot, I'll show you my favorite clip. In 2006, Katie and Micah, a young couple, moved to a new house in San Diego. Katie claims an evil presence has been haunting her since she was a child, so Micah sets up a camera in their bedroom to record any paranormal activity that occurs while they sleep. A famous psychic, Dr. Fredericks, what the hell did that cloud do? Who reveals that Katie is being haunted by a demon that feeds off the negative energy and is intent on tormenting Katie. Advises them not to communicate with the demon and to contact demonologist Dr. Johann Averies if needed. Katie seems interested, but Micah does not take this seriously. Now, she is very intent on calling this demonologist. She's like, come on, like this has been following me since childhood. We need to do something about it. And Micah makes fun of the psychic. He pokes fun. He doesn't believe that there's anything going on. The camera captures many strange occurrences which are minor at first, such as noises, flickering lights, and the bedroom door moving. However, Micah taunts and mocks the demon, soon worsening the situation. During night 1, keys are heard jangling. The 13th night, the demon angrily screeches and there's a loud thud and the door slams shut. Voice recorder tests are conducted by Micah the following morning, which revealed demonic grunting when Micah asks if it would like to use a Ouija board. During night 15, Katie appears to be in a clear trance as she gets out of bed and stands beside the bed and stares at Micah for 2 hours before going outside. Micah tries to convince Katie to go back inside, but she refuses and appears to remember none of it the next day. So that's when the demon is making Katie do things that she wouldn't normally do, which is shown amazingly, by the way. But yeah, when you taunt a demon, it just makes it angrier and it's going to keep doing what it's doing. And never use a Ouija board. I know so many people have told you this, but from a psychic themselves, me, hi, I'm a psychic, never use a Ouija board. It's not a good idea. It's like a telephone. You don't know who's going to be on the other end. You don't know who's going to be there. And they can pretend to be your dead loved one. So just don't do it. Micah brings home a Ouija board, which infuriates Katie. When they leave the house, the camera records an unseen force moving the board's pointer piece to form an unknown message on the Ouija board, which then spontaneously catches fire. Katie sees the video and pleads with Micah to contact the demonologist, but again he refuses. During night 17, Micah sprinkles baby powder in the hallway and outside the bedroom door. The couples are awakened by creaks and find non-human footprints leading to an attic where Micah finds a burnt photograph of a young Katie. Katie finally calls the demonologist but learns he's out of the country. So too little too late on calling the demonologist. But they find a burnt photograph of Katie. And I want you to remember that for next week. I want you to remember that when next week's video comes out. The events of the film have psychologically terrified Katie, which has strengthened the demon's power. They eventually call Dr. Fredericks back to the house, but he is unnerved by the demonic energy upon entering. He apologetically leaves despite their pleas, saying that the presence only makes the demon angrier. The bleak reality causes the couple to lose all hope. On night 20, Katie is pulled out of the bedroom and the demon attacks her in the dark. The camera is motionless the entire time, leaving the audience unaware what happened. It is shown the demon has bitten Katie. Micah discovers the bite mark and decides events are too out of control to remain in the house. He packs for them both to head to a motel. Micah finds that Katie is unresponsive and notices she's holding a cross so tightly that her hand is bleeding. Micah takes the cross and burns it. Just as they are set to leave, the possessed Katie insists they stay, then apparently talks to someone next to her saying they will be okay now. This is where it gets creepy. I feel like so on edge. But this is where it starts to get creepy because she's saying that they'll be okay even though they haven't been, showing that Toby, well, you don't know his name's Toby, sorry, but he has, oh, that was my voice, that he is taking control. Sorry, I heard a weird sound. Great. On night 21, Katie gets out of bed again and stares at Micah for 2 hours before going downstairs. After a moment of silence, Katie screams for Micah and he quickly rushes to help her. Remember that for later in this series. Afterward, Micah screams in pain. Katie stops screaming, and after another moment of silence, heavy footsteps are heard coming upstairs. Suddenly, a loud roar is heard as Micah's body is violently hurtled at the camera, which is knocked off the tripod, revealing a demonic Katie standing in the doorway with blood on her shirt. She slowly walks into the room and crawls to Micah's body, then looks up at the camera with a grin. As she lunges toward the camera, her face takes on a demonic appearance just as the scene cuts to black, and another growl is heard. Text states that Micah's body was discovered by the police on October 11th, 2006, and Katie has vanished. Anybody wondering, this is not real. This is not real. But yeah, so that's basically the first movie. The parts that I told you to remember them. I'll put the clip in here of my favorite part so you can see it, because it reminds me of me and my friend Johnny talking. But anyway, I'll put that in here.
We got like 10 minutes.
What the hell are you doing, Micah?
Come on, help me.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna talk to it.
Look at me.
I told you I was.
You promised me you weren't going to. Don't you look at me like that. You promised me you weren't going to mess with that stuff.
No, I promised you I wasn't gonna buy a Ouija board.
Oh,
I didn't buy a Ouija
you
board.
knew exactly what I meant.
I borrowed a Ouija
How
board.
dare you? You knew exactly what I meant. I said don't mess with that stuff because it scared me. What do? You go out and you get the best looking fucking Ouija board I've ever seen and you put it in the middle of our living room? Explain that to me.
I borrowed it.
You know what? I don't care what you did. You're going to throw it away. We're going to leave right now.
Okay.
There's no more camera. There's no more nothing. I don't want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it.
Kate.
No, don't keep me. I'm leaving and you're coming with me or you're not.
Whoa. Chill, babe.
I don't want to hear it.
But yeah, so oh, that's a spider. Yeah, so yeah, out of 1 out of 10, I would give this a 10 out of 10. It's a really good movie. It's rated R, just so you know. So most of these movies we're going to talk about are rated R. So nobody under the age of 17 can watch. So yeah, or 18, one of those two. Anyway, so, but I'm 20. Anyway, so I watched these all during the pandemic, so that's why I could talk about them. But anyway, so that's the fridge. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.